they're going to have a chance here against the #2 ranked team in the country.
And against Estelle Check, making her second start of the year, the senior out of Downers Grove, Illinois.
Estelle Check transferred in a couple years ago from NC State, has been absolutely electric for the Longhorns. Lefty pitcher shows a little bit of a different arsenal than the rest of the staff.
There you go, 1 pitch, 1 away as A.B. Garcia is retired. The home opener underway. Estelle Check tossed 4 shutout innings in the win over San Diego. Recently, 0 walks, 3 strikeouts in that one.
Well, she's going to go with curveball. We saw their first pitch to A.B. Garcia, but she also has a rise, drop, change. She's going to mix in. The curveball will be utilized on both sides of the plate. We talk about only 4 innings, some of that because of the rainouts of the 2 days that Texas had in Clearwater, Florida. Estelle Check and Mac Morgan, both pitchers who usually have more innings by now, going to get some work tonight.
Texas ranked #2 in the nation coming into this one, their highest regular season ranking in 18 years. And they even received 4 first-place votes. Oklahoma getting the rest. Say, how much do you read into this start? They've already beaten 3 top 10 teams. Tennessee, Stanford, UCLA twice, 4 run rule victories, putting up awfully impressive numbers as a couple of pop-ups induced underneath it. Mia Scott.
Well, you have to take the team exactly where they at this point in time, and so I think you read heavily into those ranked matchups. UCLA, they faced off against their sophomore pitcher who is highly touted. They were able to win that game on a nationally aired television game, big lights, big moment, and they were able to prevail. And then you see the matchup. I think that's what I had circled on my schedule, Alex, was the matchup against Tennessee after having lost the 2 games, not 2 of 3, just 2 games in Tennessee for super regionals. How were the Longhorns going to show up against the Volunteers? Essentially the same squad, but it wasn't anything close to what we saw in super regionals as far as the way the game was played.
The offense obviously producing big time. How about the pitching staff right now with the 16th best ERA in the nation at 1.17. Returned every starting pitcher from a year ago and added highly touted freshman Tegan Cavan, who we'll see this upcoming weekend. J.C. Roberts at the plate, the senior out of Pasadena, Texas. Over to Mia Scott, leaping for that one, and a 1-2-3 framed work by
Strong at the beginning of this season, still hitting her stride, but 2 home runs, as we mentioned, against Stanford. More importantly, the first freshman ever in Texas history to win the NFCA Player of the Week honors.
She's hiding from you.
That's not a surprise. There she is. But a lot to smile about for her, the .688 batting average. But more impressive to me, Alex, is the fact she is batting .750 against ranked opponents.
Unreal numbers, just like the freshman class Texas brought in last year. Vivi Martinez, Leanne Good. They were hitting well right from the start of their careers. Here's Bella Dayton leading things off for Texas. It's Ronnie Groffman, the senior out of Kingwood, Texas. Groffman 2-0 on the year, transferred over from San Jacinto College before last season. Up with the Coyotes, won a couple of JUCO national championships there.
Groffman going to throw in the low 60s, works a lot side to side, screwball, curveball, a little bit of a rise ball. She'll mix in a change. Biggest key for Groffman is going to be getting ahead of the Longhorns and trying to get them to stretch the plate.
Dayton sending one to shallow left, and Texas has their first hit of the night.
Bella Dayton gets just enough of this one into no man's land down there inside the left field line. Great hustle by the shortstop to try to lay out for that one. Couldn't pick to place it any better than that to start off the home opener.
Bella Dayton hitting Better than 350 so far on the year, picking up where she left off a season ago. Here's Mia Scott, meanwhile, at the plate, the two-time All Big 12 third baseman. An on-base reaching machine. Over the last 2 years, she has reached in all but 7 games out of 68 contests. There's a strike to Scott.
It's the speed that Scott possesses that really allows her to be so successful at reaching base. She will put a lot of pressure on defenses, even without using short game. She can hit a routine ground ball to a shortstop and have a shot at beating it out. So a lot of times people are rushing to try to make plays on Mia Scott. But that's not to take away her hand-eye coordination and her ability to come up clutch with some really good hits.
Supposed to play in the outfield this year, but Texas so loaded in the outfield that they've at least temporarily moved her back to third. Chopper to second, on to second, not in time. Everybody's safe. Dayton at second, and now Scott at first.
A little hit and run on Bella Dayton on the move on the pitch, and that forces Hagler to rush, try to get it over to second. You see Bella Dayton slides in safely before Childs receives the ball. Good hustle by Bella Dayton. Texas putting the pressure on the Husky defense early.
Here is freshman Katie Stewart out of Frankfort, Illinois. Extremely powerful freshman. All 4 of her collegiate hits have been for extra bases. Couple of home runs, couple of doubles. Top 10 recruit in the nation.
Alex, you talked about last year's freshman class and how good they were and called them the Fab Five or the Fantastic Five, freshman five. They were so solid, but back-to-back top 10 recruiting classes for Coach Mike White and the Texas Longhorns. And that's what you have to do if you want to be a national contender year in and year out. And they knew coming in, it might be hard to find some of these freshmen opportunities in the lineup, but we mentioned Caden Henry, and now Katie Stewart, both finding their way in the lineup early.
Stewart ahead in the count, 2-1. Sends one to right field. That'll drop in front of Bailey. Dayton a little bit late to start off, was making sure, but she slides in there, and Texas now has the bases loaded with no outs here in the bottom of the first inning for one of the hottest hitters on the team so far this year, Reese Atwood. What a start to her sophomore season. Has a hit in every game. And was the National Player of the Week in the opening week of the season. Takes strike one. It's the first Texas position player to win the National Player of the Week award since Lindsey Stevens in 2016. Atwood drills one to deep center, and it dies down on the track in the glove of Garcia. But tagging and scoring the first run of the night is Bella Dayton.
Well, very productive at bat by Reese Atwood. Not the fireworks that Texas fans want to see, but nonetheless gets the Longhorns on the board with the first run. Just missed that pitch, to be honest. That died out just probably about 8 feet shy of the fence.
Scott on at second, Stewart over at first with one away for Vivi Martinez. He's coming off a record-setting freshman campaign, 52 RBIs a season ago. The most by a freshman in Texas history. 0-2.
Vivi Martinez, a little bit of a slow start when you look at the first 2 days of season. A couple key strikeouts, but then Coach White said they kind of left her alone, let her figure it out. Didn't want to try to put pressure on her and keep talking about it. And sure enough, she figured it out. Some big hits, some big home runs. A lot of times you want to try to let your that sophomore slump is real. There's a lot of footage on you. There's video on you. Scouting reports have now gone, you know, out to every school. So it's a matter of being able to adjust on the fly. But Vivi Martinez is able to do so quickly this sophomore season.
A couple of flyouts to center. Puts it at 2 away. Here comes Alyssa Washington with 2 outs, 2 on, and a huge honor bestowed upon Washington in the offseason. Named captain of the Longhorns, Mike White told us that he noticed last year in the Super Regionals against Tennessee, no one was really stepping up and taking charge from a leadership standpoint. Had the players vote on naming a captain in the offseason, and they chose Alyssa Washington.
That just shows the respect she has from all of her teammates, and Coach White mentioned too that, you know, she doesn't really, quote unquote, have a dog in the fight. She basically can get along with everybody, understands and respects everybody's opinions, to the fact that she can represent the team as a whole. And that's truly a big honor. And I think the C on your chest is something that you earn. And so Coach White saying, you know, they've had leadership groups and captains in the past, but he really felt like it was time to put a C on her chest and, you know, let everyone understand that this is an athlete that should be respected, that she does some big things, not just on the field. And a huge honor, and excited for her to be able to be the first one to wear that for the Longhorns.
And she's responded, gotten off to a great start. One of the best starts of her career, hitting .412.
Well, you talk about who she is as a player, and we can highlight that in the fact that she's just selfless. We've seen her play almost everywhere in the field. She was a staple at third for a while, moved to shortstop. Now she's playing second. And you talk to the coaching staff, and whenever they say, hey, we need you to do this for the betterment of the team, she's always like, yeah, wherever you need me, I'll go. And just very selfless player.
Fouls off the 1-2 to stay alive. After plating that first run of the game a moment ago, Texas has now outscored their opponents this year 76-8. See the pitch clock in the background, upper left-hand corner, as this one sent to the gap in right center, but making the grab on the run is Bailey. Texas gets 3 hits. They score the first run of the night, and we head to the second. The Longhorns up by 1. with HCU's first hit of the night.
Well, Stelchek throwing a lot of strikes around the strike zone quite a bit. 13 of 18 prior to that pitch right there had been in the zone. Hagler knowing that, going out aggressively. This pitch just does not get all the way in, and Hagler muscles that over Washington there at second base for a single into center field.
Again, that was the first hit of the night for the Huskies against Stelchek, who's looking for the 25th win of her Texas career. That bunt attempt popped up to Jolie Mitchell. Texas again bringing all conference players off the bench to replace some of their starters.
Well, that's what what makes them impressive so far this season, is the fact that even players that you're inserting into games are highly touted, highly ranked, have so much experience. I mean, Jolie Mitchell, an all-region player at Notre Dame, earned herself conference accolades. Leanne Good coming off of an injury, but she goes in having the notoriety that she earned as a freshman. Her and Vivi Martinez up the middle. But that depth is something that Texas really hasn't had in the past, in my opinion. And so now your depth are players that have been talked about already, to where, and that's what the top programs have. So big moves for Coach White and his staff, Steve Singleton, Kristen Zaleski, getting out there recruiting, and now being able to have depth that when you make changes, you're not missing a beat.
Jules Garcia in the 9 spot behind 0-2. Yeah, Leanne Good still recovering from that offseason wrist surgery. So coming off the bench, over to second, on the bag for 1. Not in time, so Texas records out number 2 of the inning.
This is a heads-up play by Alyssa Washington. She's already playing up the middle. She sees it, moves herself, steps on the bag and throws, but Jules Garcia has some speed. Really got down the line there. I thought that was going to be a double play. A great hustle by Garcia.
Yeah, the defense for Texas, at least the game plan this year, Atwood behind the dish, Stewart tonight at first, Washington over at second, Vivi Martinez at short. Mia Scott started the game at third and was replaced by Mitchell, as there is strike 1 to A.B. Garcia. Is this the deepest team Mike White has had here at Texas since he arrived? Second hit of the night for HCU.
Yeah, I believe so. I think what we didn't get to see in 2020 was it completely unfolded. I think they had a pretty deep roster then, but I do think this is the deepest, and to be honest, probably one of the best rosters, if not the best roster, Texas has put together in program history.
That is saying something. Again, 4 wins against ranked opponents. Top 10 teams so far on the year. They'll get a rematch with Stanford coming up this weekend. Here leading HCU 1-0 in the home opener, 2-on-2 away for Haley Savage, swing and a miss, runners going. And that will do it to end the top of the third. The threat is over. We'll talk to the Huskies head coach Mary Ellen Hall coming up after the break here from McCombs Field. Inning on the way here in Austin, and we're now joined by the head coach of HCU, Mary Ellen Hall. Coach, your team hanging right with the number 2 team in the nation. What do you make of this game so far?
We're really excited, obviously. I mean, it was huge for us in the first. They had bases loaded, no outs, and only to give up 1 run. I think that helped us settle in the game a little bit quicker. If we could just settle in a little bit. We're starting to on offense. I think we're just anxious still.
Coach, that was going to be my question. What's been the conversation with your offense? Obviously, they started to find some holes that last inning.
I mean, I think it's just to settle in. I mean, the first bat of the game, first pitch. We probably need to take a few more pitches. But they seem to be barreling up the ball pretty well. I feel pretty happy with it. We just need to keep swinging, and hopefully, like they did in the last inning, they'll keep falling for us.
Appreciate it, Coach. Good luck.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Huskies trailing by 1 as we hit the bottom of the 3rd inning. Jolie Mitchell, the transfer from Notre Dame, getting her first at bat of the night for Texas. Hit .383 for the Fighting Irish a season ago. Belts one to deep right field, and that one is off the wall, and the right fielder Bailey. Mitchell racing around second, and she slides in there with a leadoff triple.
Jolie Mitchell was inserted into this lineup for Mia Scott, and the speed Jolie Mitchell shows getting all the way to 3rd on this ball is Mia Scott-like, but she drills this ball over the right fielder's head. Bailey giving a good chase. Ricochets just far enough away. Absolutely no play on Mitchell at 3rd, but a great first swing in Macomb, or at McCombs Field for Jolie Mitchell in a burnt orange uniform.
Again, you have some lethal bats coming off the bench for Mike White. Mitchell, one of those, as she just showed. And here's another one, Katie Stewart, who singled in the 1st inning. A couple of home runs and doubles on the year.
Well, as much as we're going to talk about Katie Stewart's offense, if we get the chance to see her behind the plate, Alex, her arm is absolutely incredible. She's another huge viable option behind the plate to switch out with Reese Atwood, allowing both of them to stay healthy throughout the season.
I mean, she hit 80 miles an hour on some throws during the offseason. Her former teammates in high school used to complain about catching the ball from her. She was a shortstop in high school for most of the time. The first baseman said my hand was always bruised. It was just part of the deal, but she's got an absolute cannon.
She is a very strong athlete. She has a cannon throwing. Not sure her home run against Stanford in Clearwater has landed yet. That was an absolute monster. It'll be exciting for Longhorn fans to watch Katie Stewart in her 4 years here.
That may have been the hardest hit ball by any team at the Clearwater Invitational. Any player, any team. The freshman. Texas out hitting the Huskies 4-1 right now.
And Texas 20 of 27 with a runner on 3rd and less than 2 outs.
Stewart delivers again. That one is going to roll all the way back to the wall and bring in Mitchell. Another extra base hit for the freshman, Katie Stewart.
We'll make that 21 of 28 with runners on 3rd and less than 2 outs. Katie Stewart times this up, drives this into the left center gap. Jolie Mitchell easily able to trot home. But another freshman in the burnt orange making a name for herself early.
Started off her Texas career with 5 hits, all of them for extra bases, 3 doubles, 2 homers. And we may see a change in the circle just like that for the Huskies.
Coming into the circle now for
A little bit, Ronnie Groffman did a great job getting out of that 1st inning jam, keeping the Horns scoreless in the 2nd. But this offense is just so good at getting their timing, so starting to time Groffman up, the Huskies going to make a change. Let this senior, there are quite a few of them on this roster, but let this senior get in and try to change the momentum just a little bit for the Huskies.
Reese Atwood awaits the 1-0. In her last at bat, Atwood drove in a run with a sac fly. She tied her own Texas record that she set last year, and she's done it again. 8 straight games with an RBI, the only Longhorn in history to do that, and she has now done it twice. Smashes this one to deep left center. Gone! Home run, Reese Atwood. Her red-hot start to the year continues.
Reese Atwood in her young career still here at the 40 acres. Why anybody throws her up in the zone, I don't understand. She's able to take this pitch yard, gets extended. Reese Atwood already going to start to circle home runs in the record book here soon.
How has her hitting improved so much? She was already very good last year as a freshman, very good defensively. What have you noticed about her improved hitting this year?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, one, she can still, as Coach White says, she can hit from her toes to her nose, and sometimes that gives them a little bit of frustration because she'll chase a lot of things. But she went into the offseason and really worked on what her weaknesses are. So you see their hot and cold charts quite often. She was getting beat last year on off speed and outside. And so this year you've seen a number of her extra base hits are to right field or right center gap. We didn't see that from her last year. Last year was pretty much center field all the way over to left field. Now granted, don't get me wrong, a lot of her home runs are still to the left side of the field, but her being able to drive the ball now to right field makes pitchers have to really be smart about how they pitch her.
2-0 on the way to Vivi Martinez. Reese Atwood is almost halfway to her home run total from all of last year. She had 11 a season ago. Believe, is that correct? 11 a season ago, and now she's at 5 in the 8th game of the year.
Last year, you saw her flash some really good at-bats, some brilliance early, but then she really caught fire the second half. So her power came out more in the second half of season. You see her being able to stay up with a rise ball, not necessarily swing and missing it as we did early in season. But Reese Atwood coming in, I think a lot of people highly touted her because of her defense and her arm. And really, it's the flip side that has shown up. I mean, and don't get me wrong, again, still defensively a great catcher, throws runners out, but her offense has really taken center stage for her as an athlete.
And the hit parade in this inning continues. That's now a triple, a double, a home run, and a single for Vivi Martinez, as she is the 4th batter of the frame to reach.
James just trying to squeak a changeup by Vivi Martinez, but Vivi able to muscle down to the 3-4 hole. Keep this rally going for Texas.
See what Alyssa Washington does. She lined out to end the first. Texas top 5 in the nation in batting average, home runs, and runs per game. I mean, Mike White's offenses are always very good, but they are putting up astronomical numbers so far this year.
Well, and they're accomplishing really interesting feats too. They have now hit for the cycle in this inning with just 4 hitters.
Doing a number on HCU pitching. Texas averaging nearly 11 runs per contest. Runner is going to throw into second, and Martinez easily swipes the bag.
Well, you see Martinez takes off, and this pitch, 1, a little bit of an off speed, but 2, the 1 hop to second base. Martinez in there easily. With the way Texas has been hitting, they have not been running as much as they have in the past 2 seasons. But at the same time, when you're getting a lot of extra base hits from your offense, you don't always have to put runners in motion.
And again, the biggest thing, they got 4 first place votes in the latest top 25 poll. The first time Oklahoma hasn't been a unanimous #1 since this exact week last year.
And this week, a year ago, actually UCLA took over as the #1 team in the country. But since then, Oklahoma has gone on quite the run, 60-plus game winning streak.
Hey, just cover it, Walt. Cover it. Cover it and trust yourself up the middle.
Steve Singleton has done a tremendous job as associate head coach. The bats have taken off ever since he arrived on the 40 acres. Two.
I think the progress of the offense over the last 3 years has been really impressive under Singleton's eye, in the fact that you don't see a lot of dramatic changes in the swing. We've talked about a few of them over the past. Reese Atwood made one at halfway point of last year, which really allowed her to go on her tear. But more importantly, it's the in-game adjustments that they're able to do with his communication that has been key in their growth.
He watches another batter reach. Washington with the free pass. That's now a walk, a single, a double, triple, and a home run for Texas in this inning. Here's the senior Jordan Whitaker in her second at bat. One hit so far on the year for Whitaker. That one misses. Jordan Whitaker, career .261 hitter coming into tonight. Mainly in a pinch hit role throughout her career. Has come up with some big postseason hits, especially a couple of years ago.
Yeah, her freshman campaign, she was really making waves, and a couple of her home runs went viral rather quickly. I know she had a check swing home run that went out in right center field, and her strength was really shown. But I think, you know, teams started to adjust, try to force her to swing off the plate, change speeds a little bit. But last year, started out the season really consistent as a pinch hitter. So Texas hoping that she can adapt that role again as a senior and really be able to contribute in big moments and rack up the RBIs.
James ready to go in the circle. First 5 batters of this inning have reached. Whitaker underneath that one. Shallow right, charging in and unable to make the grab is Bailey. The throw bounces away from second. Martinez will hold at third. So Texas's big inning continues. 2 on, still no outs. Bases loaded, excuse me, and still nobody out. We'll get another look at Bailey. The hustle was there, but unfortunately unable to hold on to it.
With the power Texas bats have, and Jordan Whitaker specifically, Bailey was playing really deep in right field, and you saw her first couple steps. She actually arched backwards, even though that ball was more shallow. As you mentioned, good hustle, but unable to keep the ball in glove there.
Here's the freshman Caden Henry, whose first 2 collegiate home runs came in her last game against Stanford.
Coach White gonna insert a pinch runner.
That will be freshman Adea Wallace out of Plano taking over for Whitaker at first.
For the Horns coming in line at first base, number 5 and number 4, Adea Wallace.
Just Wallace's second appearance of the season.
So Caden Henry really trying to bust this one open. Texas already has scored 3 times in this inning. As the count goes 1-1, Martinez at third, Washington at second. And now Wallace at first.
Well, good speed all around for Texas. They're really going to force the Huskies to have some quick action.
Swing and a miss, 1-2.
But the key right now is hitting is contagious, and you've seen some power come from Mitchell, Stewart, obviously Reese Atwood. But Vivi Martinez being able to get a single, a walk. Don't try to do too much against James right now. It's the first time you're seeing her. Try to make solid contact versus swinging for a home run or over swinging to try to join the power brigade.
And Henry, the reigning National Player of the Week. Atwood did it before that. Nowhere to put her as the count goes 3-2.
Well, key pitch here for Janes. Just gonna have to bring something to Henry, but knowing Henry's consistency as of late, can't bring it too far over the white.
Chops one over to short, charging in from third and unable to get there in time was Savage. Childs was waiting for it. Savage jumped in front, and it results in a Texas run. Make it 5-0. Bases still loaded and no outs.
Well, Henry hits this, but just slow enough. A little bit miscommunication between shortstop and third. She does have the speed and beats that out. Infield base hit for Henry.
Ashton Maloney up with the bases loaded. First 7 batters of this inning have all reached. Swing and a miss.
Well, we saw Texas with the power, and now they're just really able to have consistent at-bats. The walk by Washington, the hustle play by Henry. It's gonna force Ashton Maloney to swing away. We usually see her slap. She can use some small ball to get herself on, but RBI situation, bases loaded.
Do not envy Katie Janes coming out of the pen into a situation like this against one of the best offenses in the nation. Top to bottom throughout the order.
Well, yeah, you come in with runners on and then obviously give up the home run, not the way you want to enter the game. Well, the double and no, it's just the home run. But needs to figure out how to settle down in order to get the Huskies back in the offensive dugout, because they were starting to make some noise.
That is a big strikeout of Ashton Maloney by Katie Janes.
Well, Janes using the off speed, Ashton Maloney going to her slap, but this pitch, screwball, excuse me, stretches off the plate. Big first out for Janes as they get back to the top of the order for Texas.
Well, here comes Leanne Good, the sophomore out of San Antonio. She takes strike one. Again, had off-season wrist surgery following that terrific freshman campaign when she hit .325 last year with 16 doubles. Count goes 0-2. Texas putting up these phenomenal offensive numbers this year without Good having much playing time.
Well, Texas letting her come back into play a little bit more slowly in order to ensure that that wrist is at full strength. At the same time, lets her adjust too, getting a few at-bats, getting comfortable, and not trying to do too much.
They go home, and that one wide of the catcher, Roberts. Texas takes a 6-0 lead.
Well, Good hits a ground ball at Jessup at first. She sets to throw, but doesn't square her feet up to home plate. You see the throw get by Roberts back there. Gives up only one run.
A lot of speed on the bases, and Wallace, Henry, and Good for Jolie Mitchell. And it misses. Mike White called Mitchell a difference maker when he brought her over through the transfer portal from Notre Dame. Talked about her leadership, much of a gritty player she was. And the impressive stats don't hurt as well. Back up the middle, Mitchell will bring home at least one, make it a 2-run single for the transferred Jolie Mitchell.
You talk about not trying to do too much. The first time you see a pitcher, the first pitch inside, but Jolie Mitchell just drives this right back up the middle. Coach White talking to us at the transfer, a little frustrated, not necessarily starting every day. Obviously, as a competitive athlete, that's what you want, so trying to get her more opportunities, and she's making the most of them tonight.
I'll say 2 for 2 with 2 runs driven in. Here's Katie Stewart, the freshman. She is also 2 for 2 with a run-scoring double a few minutes ago in this inning. Texas now outscoring their opponents this year 83-8. In search of run rule victory number 5 in just their 8th game.
When you're able to see that they're able to put runs up on the board in a multitude of ways. We've seen the home run, we've seen just consecutive hits, we've seen walks.
That one blasted to center field off the top of the wall by Stewart. Her 3rd hit of the night brings in another Texas run.
Well, another absolute blast. The strength of Katie Stewart. This hits the wall on the fly. See A.B. Garcia just turns to play it off the wall. She plates another run while Jolie Mitchell ends up at 3rd base. But the power of Katie Stewart is on display tonight.
And that will bring in the 3rd different pitcher of the innings. They have scored 8 runs in the 3rd inning alone. As Reese Atwood takes the first pitch into the gap in right center. That's going to bring home 2 more. Atwood delivers a 2-run double. Unreal.
Well, Alex, you asked what was different about Reese Atwood this year, and I said she's able to drive the pitch to opposite field. This a pitch low in the zone, still over the middle of the plate, but she's not trying to pull that. She drives that right center, gets herself another double. Last year at this time, she would have tried to pull that, maybe got a single down into the left field line, but understanding her swing and able to drive to all fields.
Reese Atwood, now top 10 in the nation in batting average, RBIs, and home runs. She's driven in 5 tonight. Home run, a double, and a sac fly. Here's Vivi Martinez with Atwood at 2nd. Well, Texas right at their season average of 11 runs per game, and we're only in the 3rd.
I like the aggressiveness. Even with new pitchers in the game, they're not going in and taking a lot of strikes.
It just seems like a very sound Texas team this year. At the plate, in the field, very disciplined, not a lot of mental errors through any of the now first 8 games.
And they've been tested. It's not like they haven't been tested. They've played ranked opponents. They've been in some close games. You know, there was a play against UCLA that I actually asked Steve Singleton about post-game when I was able to talk to him. There was a runner on 3rd, and they were actually played back instead of playing in. And I was like, why? And most of the time you play in, you cut the run at home. There's only a 2-run lead. And, you know, he quickly was like, we're going to bet on ourselves. Double play because the runner at home wasn't quick. We thought we could get it. We almost did. We didn't, but we traded a run, had 2 outs, and no one was hurt. And, you know, conventional softball, your shortstop would have been playing in.
Betting on themselves. It's paid off so far this year. Chris Del Conte over there in the bullpen taking this one in. That one to shallow right on the run, making the grab at the edge of the infield was Hagler, 2 away.
Well, the home opener, you would hope the big boss man is here to take it in, especially with how hot they are.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Hagler, great job there, stretching out. Big second out for the Huskies. There we see him.
A lot to be proud of. Talk about later on tonight. In about an hour, he's going to go see the number 5 team in the nation in women's basketball. The Longhorns taking on Texas Tech. That will be here on LHN from the Moody Center. So you got number 5 women's hoops and number 2 Texas softball here doing a number on HCU.
Well, you won't ever have me disagree that any time's a great time to be a Longhorn, but Longhorn sports are doing a lot of great things again, and so it's fun atmosphere around Austin, Texas, and Chris Del Conte obviously responsible for that resurgence.
Yep. Washington smokes one foul. Don't forget the Lone Star Invitational is coming up this weekend here from McCombs Field. There'll be some big ranked matchups. Stanford coming to town, as well as Jerry Glasgow in Louisiana.
Here you go, Derek.
Another competitive slate for Texas. I did talk to Coach White about the scheduling, though, and the addition of the 3 teams in the Big 12. If you are a Texas fan, you remember last year there were, I think, 4 home tournaments. Only down to 2 this year because there's 2 extra weekends of Big 12 play.
Washington stays alive.
But as a, obviously, Texas fan, Big 12 fan, having played in it, it's exciting to see the addition of those 3 teams into the Big 12, especially UCF coming off the year they had. But you had Houston and BYU, who's actually making some noise early so far this season as well.
That will be the first regular season series for Texas here at McCombs. That one gets away from the catcher, Roberts, and Washington is safe as the inning continues. Texas has reached in just about every possible fashion here in the 3rd.
Well, this a change up, and Alyssa Washington fooled. It's on the outer half, but it just drops out of JC Roberts' glove. She tries to hustle to make the play, but Washington gets down there in time. Tough break for the Huskies there in that situation.
Texas has reached on now a strikeout and a pass ball, an error, single, a double, a triple, a home run, and a walk just in the 3rd inning alone.
I think we're just missing a hit by pitch.
That's about it. See what happens here with Wallace, the freshman. This is the first career at bat for Adea Wallace. Part of that talented freshman class, top 100 recruit out of Plano.
Well, known for her speed, and Coach Mike White will tell you she's a true slapper, so you won't see her standing in swing. She's going to try to force some action from the Husky defense, put some pressure on them, similar to what we've seen the likes of Alyssa Popelka in the past, Mia Scott when she slaps, occasionally Bella Dayton as well. Just trying to really put the ball on the ground and have some action. They're going to call Adea Wallace out of the box. If the foul ball happens with 2 strikes, then
4th inning, we're now joined by Mike White, head coach of the 2nd-ranked team in the nation. Coach, your team just seems different this year. That offense just showing up big time in that last inning. What feels different about this squad this season?
Confidence, and that's what it's all about. Just getting a little more confidence from last year. You know, we had a pretty good showing, and we've played some pretty tough competition. This year, playing tough competition again, and we're getting some good results, so hopefully we can continue.
Coach, some new faces and all of them contributing. Talk a little bit about Katie Stewart in particular. She's flashing it all tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, she finally got a single. She had nothing but doubles, triples, and home runs, but so she mixed in a single. But you know, she's hitting the ball hard, and I just like what she does, and she's going to be an everyday player for us.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you. Hook 'em.
Mike White's team well on their way to going 8-0, now up 11-0. And again, we told you Sophia Simpson taking over in the circle. The junior sitting on 200 career strikeouts, making her 4th appearance of the season.
Well, Estelle Check finishes the night 9 of 10 at-bats were 4 pitches or less. She only got to 1 2-ball count, so very efficient as far as controlling the strike zone goes. And Coach Mike White and his new addition to staff, we haven't talked about, Patty Ruth Taylor, going to opt to put Sophia Simpson in, get her some innings. She'll be a little bit of a change of pace as she uses her changeup more often.
Leanne Good moved to 2nd, and there she is making the play. We saw her there most of last year, making so many stellar plays in the field. Haley Savage retired. So here's J.C. Roberts in the 3 spot.
Yeah, well, J.C. Roberts, one of 10 seniors, but one of 6 seniors that have spent all 4 years at HCU, and one of 6 who actually played under their assistant coach, Roger Wilhite, who was Mary Ellen Hall's assistant for 26 years. Coach Wilhite suddenly passing in 2021, but was a very loyal assistant to Coach Hall in the program. His daughter actually played there as well, so I know the program misses him, but Coach Hall talking about how these 6 seniors are kind of the last part of him to leave the program, but she's excited also to see what they do, knowing that they're going to carry his legacy on.
Went through a lot with the program. And Coach Mary Ellen Hall has been through so much with this team in now her 33rd year, and leading them into D1 softball.
Well, and those 6 seniors, J.C. Roberts, we saw Katie Janes pitch, Lindy Swanson pitch. Jackie Jessup has been playing first, Riley Martin, one of them, and Casey Hagler also.
Shortstop, number 10, Maggie Childs.
882 career victories, winningest coach in any sport by a large margin in HCU history. Well, there was a walk on 4 pitches by Sophia Simpson to J.C. Roberts. So here's the cleanup hitter, Maggie Childs, who lined out in the second as Simpson falls behind 1-0. And it's kind of been the story throughout her career. She's at her best versus top competition. Last weekend in Clearwater, 2 innings against Stanford, no runs, just 1 hit allowed, 4 strikeouts. But when faces different competition, we'll just leave it at that, not quite the same pitcher consistently.
Well, pitching, you have to play a mental game with yourself, and no matter what, you have to be attacking the strike zone as if you're facing the best hitters left and right. So that way there's never any type of emotional or mental lack of focus. And Coach White and Coach Patty Ruth Taylor both working with Sophia Simpson on that consistency. She does pitch a little bit backwards. Her off-speed pitch is her best pitch, so you'll see that a lot. But you have to be able to locate those other pitches as well in order to be effective.
There's strike number 1 to Childs. HCU with just 1 hit on the night. Just 2 base runners, a single by Casey Hagler in the 3rd, and then that walk a moment ago to Roberts. There's strike 2.
A big swing right there by Childs. Evening the count. But you have to know that HCU has the scouting report of Sophia Simpson being a changeup pitcher. But there we see Childs chasing it in the dirt.
Strikeout number 201 of Simpson's career. Texas hasn't needed a lot of strikeouts tonight in the circle. That's just their 2nd thrown. Or excuse me, 3rd, 2 by Check, 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd. And the first there by Simpson, now 2 away for Jackie Jessup. Longhorns 24-3 in their home openers. That one bobbled by Martinez and unable to recover. Fielding had been pretty good so far this year through the first 7 games of the season. That one keeps the inning going.
Well, good ground ball by Jessup, has some spin on it. It rolls up Vivi Martinez. You saw her slide over to be able to make that play, not necessarily able to move through it.
Ball 1 to Maddie Bailey. This one drilled into the gap in right center. That's going to drop in, and HCU is on the board. A run-scoring double from Maddie Bailey.
Well, this pitch on the inner half, and Maddie Bailey does a great job. Jammed just a little, but strong enough, driving that out to center field. See Caden Henry calling off Adeo Wallace, getting that, trying to get it in, but Maddie Bailey, RBI double for the Huskies.
They've had only 4 base runners on the night. 3 of them have come in this inning. Here is Casey Hagler, who had their first hit of the night in the 3rd, a single.
Well, we talked to Coach Hall after that 3rd inning, and she said she just needed balls to start falling for the Huskies because she thought they were doing a good job of pitch selection.
Double as well. Texas, another big offensive performance. 10 runs off of 8 hits. In that 3rd inning alone, the 8, 9, and 1 hitters due up now in the 4th. Caden Henry leading off, the phenomenal freshman, National Player of the Week, singled and drove in a run in the 3rd.
Swanson back here in the 4th inning to work for the Huskies.
Big home run swing. So Henry has 2 home runs already in the first now 7.5 games. She only hit 4 home runs her entire senior year of high school. But Mike White says she had some sneaky power. She can leave the yard in a hurry, as she's already shown off, and delivers there to center field, her 2nd hit of the night.
Well, Henry does a good job just getting enough of this ball up the middle, but I think the big hole for me that Caden Henry is going to fill, and probably fill even with some more quality, is the departure, excuse me, of Alyssa Popelka down there in the batting order. She's been a speedster. She's been able to get on, continue to flip the lineup. We talked about her with Ashton Maloney quite a bit last year, but Caden Henry possesses the same speed, but more tools offensively as far as bunch, slap, also hit, and then the power Coach White talked about.
There's Victoria Hunter, freshman out of Houston, getting an opportunity. Number 12 recruit in the nation. In just 6 at-bats this year, already has a single, double, triple, and a home run. A couple of walks as well.
Well, again, talking to Coach White and talking about this roster, he talks about how hungry they all are. They all want to be playing, and he has to have conversations about when the opportunities will come. Victoria Hunter, as a freshman right now, you know, infield's pretty solid, so where are we going to be able to get her in? She was in left field just now in the last inning, but at the same time, hey, you're going to be the first pinch hit off the bat off the bench in certain crucial situations, and when you can communicate that and have an athlete buy into, okay, this is what I'm going to be used for as RBI opportunities, they're ready to go. They're ready to rise in that moment, and he's really hoping Victoria Hunter can be that this year as season progresses.
When usually the best teams in any sport are filled with talented players like this deep in the roster, pushing the already talented starters. When you have that kind of depth, that means you could be on the verge of a special season.
Well, that's the kind of depth it takes to be a championship ball club, because you need to be pushing each other every day in practice. No one should feel comfortable.
Hunter slices one foul.
But the maturity of Texas's freshman class last year and what we're seeing so far this year with Katie Stewart, Caden Henry, and now Victoria Hunter is not just the production, but the mature at bats. Even right now, Hunter's in pinch hit, first at bat of the season, of the game here at home. Could go in trying to do too much, to add runs, to add power to what's already been produced. Instead, quality at bat, working the count, not chasing a whole lot of pitches.
Hunter in her high school career hit better than 600 with nearly 90 runs driven in.
Well, talking about first at bat of the game for you here at home at McCombs. 8th pitch coming. I think we'll see a lot of pitches in this at bat.
This one smashed to right field. Hunter off the wall and out of the yard. Victoria Hunter with her 2nd career home run. What a home opener for the Horns.
Well, it was freshmen getting it done in 2023 for the Longhorns, and it is freshmen right now in 2024 here in this home opener for the Horns. Victoria Hunter going dead right field, opposite field home run in her first at-bat at McCombs as a Longhorn. The hit parade continues, but quality at-bats 1 through 9, and really let's go 1 through 12 with the 3 substitute hitters Coach White has put in. The Longhorns are in the driver's seat early this season, in my opinion.
So now Hunter in her career, in her young career here at Texas, 7 at-bats and already has 2 home runs, a triple, a double, a single, and 2 walks.
She's making the most of every opportunity she's given.
It is tough to keep these players on the bench, just like Jolie Mitchell, who came off the bench and delivered a triple and a 2-run single. She's coming up next after Leanne Good.
As a staff, though, that's what makes you excited to be able to say, yes, this is what the outlook of season looks like. You have your starters, but then you have the players like Mitchell and Hunter, Leanne Good right now as she's not starting, who can come in and, like we've said earlier, you don't miss a beat. Your team continues right on. The offense is able to continue right on. That type of depth is integral in this game in order to be able to get to Oklahoma City and have a run at the championship.
Here is Jolie Mitchell, the former All-ACC first teamer with Notre Dame. Mentioned 2 hits off the bench tonight. On the season for the Longhorns, hitting .421 in limited appearances. Former high school Gatorade Player of the Year coming out of Rosebud, Arkansas a few years ago.
Well, you talk about limited appearances, and right now for Texas, the question mark is going to be as hot as Reese Atwood is when she's not catching. She has to stay in the offensive lineup either as a first baseman or DP. You slide Katie Stewart behind the plate. What do you do with Mia Scott? Do you leave her at third? Who do you put at first? So there's a lot of options and moving parts, but it's a lot of athletes that could fit in there, but they can't all fit in there at once.
It's a problem some coaches can only dream of.
Very true. I say it's a good problem to have.
1-2 to Mitchell. Texas with 13 runs off 13 hits, 1 error for HCU, 1, 2, and 2. The next games for the Longhorns will be Friday night, the Lone Star Invitational, taking on Colorado State and Louisiana. They'll face Stanford on Saturday.
When we mentioned they played Stanford in Clearwater, they won that game, but the big asterisk is they have not faced Stanford's ace, Nigeri Kennedy, yet. She was, in my opinion, probably slated to start that game, but had to go in the game prior to their competition to Texas, to where they didn't use her. So should be an interesting matchup Friday night, as I would imagine Nigeri Kennedy will get the ball for the Cardinal.
Stanford dropped to number 12 in the latest rankings after the Clearwater Invitational. They're 5-4 on the year. And Louisiana dropped out of the top 25. Jolie Mitchell, what a night for the transfer. A single, a triple, and now a home run.
Well, the transfer is seeing the ball big again, making the most of the opportunity. Let's get her up once more to see if she can get the double and hit for the cycle. But this pitch up in the zone, but on the plate. Great piece of hitting by Jolie Mitchell. She's finding herself quite at home here at McCombs.
2 of the last 3 batters have left the yard. Katie Stewart was set to come off. She went 3 for 3 on the night, but we will be replaced by a player we saw start an awful lot in her first 2 years on the 40 acres, Katie Simmons. Junior out of Humble, getting the pinch hit appearance. She is 2 for 8 on the year as Jolie Mitchell gets congratulated in the Texas dugout.
Well, Alex, we talk about all these pieces trying to figure out how to get them in and get them opportunities. Katie Simmons is one of those as well. Consistently been in the lineup her first 2 years.
Well, you have to have the right type of players to be okay with knowing their roles, not being a starter anymore, whether it's offensively or some of the pitchers having different roles this year.
Well, it's going to look different. And the big piece is, do you want to be part of something bigger? And this team definitely having to have those conversations. I think that's part of the C on Alyssa Washington's chest, is the fact that she's able to help navigate those conversations with the players and and between the coaching staff. Keep a good pulse on the roster and how everyone is feeling and reacting.
Because it's not just a video game. You have to manage personalities. Everybody has their individual goals, but everything coming together for Texas tonight and early on in the season. Simmons sends one to the gap. 15th hit of the night for Texas. And a pinch hit, 1 out double for the junior.
Well, Texas not letting many strikes go by. Simmons in a hitter's count. Again, another shot into the gap. I like the aggressiveness by the Longhorns. There have been times in the past we've seen them get passive, take a lot of strikes, get in counts that aren't favorable, but right now they're controlling every at-bat.
7th extra base hit of the night for Texas. Here's Reese Atwood, who has 2 of them. Atwood, a 2-run double, 2-run homer that traveled 241 feet. And a sac fly in the first to bring home the first run of the night. Sophomore out of Houston.
Well, the 4th different look for the Huskies in the circle. Ryan Brown, another highly touted recruit, has quite a bit of power. Coach White and Steve Singleton hoping she can get some timing and get some opportunities to be able to adjust.
Top 50 recruit in the nation, coming out of Thompson Station, Tennessee. 14 home runs in her final year of high school. One run in the first for Texas, 10 in the third. 3 so far here in the 4th. 3-1 to Brown.
Well, you know, Brown's chopping at the bit to swing the bat right now, but patience will pay off too as she can pass the bat down this lineup for the Longhorns.
Swing and a miss, full count on the way.
Brown staying alive, trying to adjust her timing a little bit here to Persifka.
Texas using just about every possible option. Seen Whitaker play, Wallace, Hunter, Simmons. And Ryan Brown has now reached base for the first time in her Texas career. And here is that last batter we had not seen, Vanessa Quiroga. She will get a pinch hit appearance for Texas. I saw her put up some big offensive numbers last year. Remember, she had a stretch of starting 11 games. Hit 3 home runs and a career .333 hitter. Bases loaded for the junior from Corpus Christi.
Well, Quiroga, an extremely athletic utility player for Texas. We saw her behind the dish a couple times last year. Texas needing a third catcher, so they're getting her some experience back there. We also saw her for first career home run here at McCombs.
Swinging for the fences, but behind 0-2. Houston Christian using 4 different pitchers tonight. Did manage to score their first run in program history against the Longhorns. They were shut out each of their previous 2 meetings back in 2019 and 2013.
Coach Hall telling us this matchup was actually supposed to be a little bit later in season, but had to move. Texas, with a scheduling conflict, asked if they'd move it. And she was like, I'm actually excited it's earlier in season so we can play it, learn from it, grow from it, and be able to carry anything they learn, anything they need to work on prior to conference starting.
At least for the first couple of innings, they were hanging right with the #2 team in the nation. It was a 1-run game.
Well, they did. They had a good start. They've been able to put some good bat on ball.
Quiroga over to short. They go home and get the force. 2 away. Two outs for Adea Wallace, the freshman out of Plano, who was called out of the box to end that 10-run 3rd inning.
Wallace, a true slapper. She's going to have to find a little bit of power slap, try to get this out of the infield. Bases loaded. They have a play at any base. So soft contact isn't going to work in this situation.
Been dealing with a hamstring injury early on in her Texas career. Oh, 0-2. Texas now outscoring their opponents this year 89-9. Ball 1.
Well, since entering, Persifka doing a pretty good job changing pace against the Longhorns. Settled down after the free pass to Ryan Brown. Got the fielder's choice, excuse me.
Wallace sends one foul. And this is Texas's first game since that win over Stanford in Clearwater after having the next 2 days worth of contests canceled due to the rain. Picking up right where they left off, as that one just misses. 2-2 with 2 away.
Yeah, unfortunate rain out there in Florida. They had matchups against North Carolina, Kentucky, Northwestern. Some really quality opponents to finish out that tournament, but Mother Nature had her way. But looks like Mother Nature's gonna be nice to you this weekend.
Don't jinx it.
Wow.
Usually in the past we've had hail, we've had sleet, grapple, which I didn't even know what it was before that weekend. But you'll be in warmer temperatures. Enjoy. I'm sure you'll miss us. Inning ends with a strikeout. So here we go. HCU down to their last 3 outs. Texas looking for their 5th run rule victory of the season already, as they plate 3 more in the 4th and lead it 4.
So, I did okay. They were better than I was.
Mac Morgan taking over in the circle for the potential final inning here. It's Texas trying to run rule HCU. 3rd pitcher of the night for Texas. We saw Estelle Check start, Sophia Simpson come in, and now Morgan trying to shut the door.
Coach White getting everybody a little bit of action. We've seen Tegan Cavan and Citlali Gutierrez throwing in the bullpen too to get some workouts in. That's a tailored 1-4-3 ground out right there.
Well, and somebody like Morgan may be adjusting to a new role this year. Remember, she was somewhat of the ace a year ago.
Well, as a pitching staff, you have to buy into the staff as a whole doing well. And so if you have someone who has the hot hand right now, Citlali Gutierrez looks great for Texas, had a great outing against Tennessee in Clearwater, Florida. Tegan Cavan, the freshman, doing big things as well. So yeah, you fill the role that's there and buy into it. And, you know, everyone's going to get starts at some point during season. But the rain obviously taking start away from Mac Morgan there in Florida. But at the same time, she's going to complement Cavan and Citlali Gutierrez really well. So Coach White talking about, yeah, you know, right now I might have 2 starters. I may have 3 come conference. We'll see how it plays out. Going to see how the season unfolds, but he likes the diversity of his staff right now.
Cavan and Gutierrez getting ready for the weekend. Meanwhile, Texas now 1 out away from picking up another run rule victory. Brief conversation amongst the umpires and in the circle. And we will have a challenge on that last play as we take a look at the upcoming schedule for the Longhorns. Lone Star Invitational gets underway Friday. Texas faces a Louisiana team receiving votes, then Colorado State in the nightcap. Day 2, State, and then number 12, Stanford, and they wrap it up against Louisiana. But again, just when it seemed like things were about to end, hold on. With 2 outs, we do have a challenge by Mary Ellen Hall and the Huskies.
They are seeing, they thought the ball might have hit the batter in the foot in the box, but that's clear as day in the dirt, far enough away on the outer half of the plate. So that will, in fact, be out number 2.
That is one of the quickest reviews you will see. Call stands, 2 outs here in the 5th inning. A.B. Garcia, who led off the game by popping up against Estelle Check. Potentially the final out here against Mac Morgan.
Well, Mac Morgan, 2 outs on 3 pitches. Going to work, very efficient.
Again, Texas coming into this one as the number 2 team in the nation, receiving 4 first-place votes ahead of Oklahoma, and very much looking the part tonight, dominating.
Well, the key is going to be consistency for this lineup, and so far in season they've been able to do it, but 56 games plus postseason is a long haul, so it's the mental and emotional toll that they're all experienced with, minus a handful of freshmen. But being able to come together and stay together through all 56 games and pushing each other and being each other's #1 cheerleader too. We talk about the pitching staff having to adapt, but as season goes and people's bats get hot, you have to be able to cheer whoever's in the lineup and be ready for your name to be called, but at the same time, excited for everyone else.
And that'll do it. Mac Morgan ends the game with a strikeout. Texas moves to 8-0 on the year with their 5th run rule victory of the season.
Well, Texas coming in with the offense being all the talk, and it did not disappoint in the home opener here at McCombs. We saw them score in every which way. They flashed the power, they used the speed, a little bit of small ball mixed in there. A great job by the offense to set the tone. The pitching staff doing its job, holding the HCU to just the lone run.
Texas's pitching staff giving up just 2 hits, as you said, 1 run. The Longhorns offense, 14 runs off 16 hits. We'll talk to one of the stars of the hit parade coming up after the break as Texas takes it 14-1.
Ooh, stuffed up again?
So congested.
Opener this evening in the capital city. We're now joined by one of the stars of the night, the transfer from Notre Dame, Jolie Mitchell, who went 3 for 3 with a home run and a triple. Jolie, congratulations. What has it been like overall being in a Longhorns uniform for the first time this year and being part of an offense like this?
It's unbelievable. Personally, I've wanted to come here for a couple years, and wearing the burnt orange has been a dream of mine. I'm very blessed to be here. My journey's been a little bit crazy, but I'm just happy to be here.
Jolie, tonight Longhorns fans got their first look at you playing at home for the first time. Talk about what it was about Texas that has made you want to be here in Austin and at McCombs Field.
They're just competitive. You know, playing against them a couple years ago and just seeing how much that, you know, they work so hard and that they're very determined to be the best. And I know that we want to go to OKC this year and win it all.
What did you make of all the number of contests against ranked opponents over the first few weeks of the season? What did that tell you all about yourselves?
I think that we're ready to take on anybody, whoever it is, and go all the way and get the gold this year.
Jolie, talk about you didn't get the start tonight. You came in. What's your mindset in opportunities like that?
Just to do my job. I think I've struggled with that recently, but you know, just knowing when the team needs me and just to do my job, just to relax and do what I've been doing for 20 years.
Who else has impressed you on this team? So many talented players up and down this roster, not only offensively, but on the pitching staff as well.
You know, watching them, it's just, everybody is so fun. Everybody brings a lot of energy to the table and a lot of skill. And I know that no matter who's out there, they're just going to give it their all.
Jolie, talk to me more importantly about your mindset and your approach at the box. You obviously flexed some power tonight, but what is your mindset anytime you're going into the box?
Just to know that everything's going to work out the way it's supposed to relax and just do what I've been doing, what I've been practicing for so long, and know that, you know, whatever I do, it's the best I can do.
All right, congratulations again, Jolie.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jolie.
A 3 for 3 night.